everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. With every move he makes.
Konrad was born in 1857 in Poland and moved to England. He got a British nationality in 1886. He wrote in English and is one of the greatest authors of the 20th century.
Konrad tried to kill himself when he was 20 years of age in March 1878 because he was in debt. In August 3, 1924, probably because of a heart attack.
Now we're gonna talk about the main characters in the novel. The first character is Mr. Verloc. He's a secret agent employed by an unnamed embassy. He also owns a shop in London that sells pornographic material. He lives with his wife, his mother-in-law, and his brother-in-law, Stevie. He's also part of an anarchist group.
Mrs. Winnie Verloc is Mrs. Adolf Verloc's wife. She cares a lot about her brother, that is Stevie, that has a mental disorder, and she is younger than Mr. Verloc, and she didn't marry him because she loved him, but only because she wanted to provide a home for her mother and her brother.
Now Stevie. Stevie is Winnie's younger brother. He has a mental disorder which people believe is autism. He spends most of his time drawing circles in papers, and he is deeply disturbed by the notion of violence and hardship.
The inspector is a policeman that is dealing with the explosion that happens at the Greenwich Observatory.
Mr. Vladimir was the ambassador of an unnamed country. He believed the English policy was too soft on anarchists and socialists because that was a problem in his home.
Konrad Alexander Osipon. He is an ex-medical student, and he is an anarchist, and he is from the group of Mr. Verloc.
The novel begins when Mr. Vladimir asks Mr. Verloc to explode a bomb at the Greenwich Observatory. After that, Mr. Verloc gets a bomb with the professor, one of his anarchist friends.
Stevie was very submitted to Mrs. Verloc, and Mrs. Verloc asked him to put the bomb for him on the Greenwich Observatory. Steve didn't ask why, because he has a mental disorder and because he trusts on Miss Verloc. When Steve is on the Greenwich Observatory, he trips and fell down, and the bomb explodes. And the bomb explodes, killing Steve and destroying the Greenwich Observatory.
It was the inspector that, through a clue that Steve left in the scene crime, tracked him to Mr. Verloc.
Miss Verloc kills Verloc and tells Osipon and runs away with him with all Verloc's money. In the train, Osipon jumps with all the money, and after a time he discovers that she commits suicide.
Steve's character was based on the real history of the anarchist Marshall Borden that tried to explode somewhere, and one of the possible targets was the Greenwich Observatory.
The Secret Agent was one of the 3 works of literature that was talked about most in the United States of America, because the terrorist and anarchist team
And taking away your